Hi guys, I'm back. I'm Alex Lee. Sorry I've been gone for so long. We've got a lot of stuff growing on the farm and other places. So I'm gonna get to today's video about propagation, and I've got this big thing going on right now that I need to do a lot more videos, and that's what I hear from you. And so I'm gonna start making some more videos right here before the gardening season and the growing season is done and finished. So we're going to first get into this thing, and I'm going to show you different types of plants first that you can propagate, just that I can think of, or what I've got right here. So right here, everybody calls this Hens and Chicks. So here's the mother plant. It's kind of growing everywhere, but as you can tell, it sends out these little pups right here along the edges when it gets very comfortable in its environment. So I've got some of these little pups right here that I'm going to propagate with. So there's your first plant that I've got. The second plant is the mother of thousands. So she is getting it. I mean, she's got thousands, and she has produced so many, and she's getting this woody stalk. Probably shouldn't let her do this, but she's loving life in the greenhouse here in North Alabama. So as you can tell right here, she's got all these little bitty teeny plants. They're really teeny, but you have to be very careful with them, because if you barely touch them, they'll fall off and hit the ground. This is how the mother of thousands propagates herself, or how she reproduces herself. She will spread herself all over the place like she wants to do in this pot, but I kept her in this small pot to where she won't go crazy, but her little pups will. So I can just take my little hand and I'll rub the little pups off there, you know, and I can go along in trays or pots, and I can plant these little plants everywhere. And we'll have mother of thousands. We'll have thousands of these suckers. So there's your mother of thousands. This is one of the coolest plants I've seen, that the way they propagate themselves. The next plant on here, or that I've got, is a spider plant. These are super easy to take care of. I've just got it hanging out. I haven't been taking care of them. I've just been throwing some water on it every once in a while. I haven't had time to take care of a lot of my plants. And the poor things, I've kind of abused them a little bit, but as you can tell, it's a survivor. So that's what I like, the stories behind my plants. But anyway, I'm going to show you right here how it reproduces itself and spreads itself. So snake plants, in their natural habitat, they grow up in trees and crooks in trees, kind of like orchids do, and they really love it in that tropical humidity. A lot of rain. They love water. But anyway, I was going to show y'all. They send out these little shoots like this along this vine, and they'll send out these little pups. And every one of these little plants, as you can see right here, they've already got aerial roots. This is from all the humidity here in Alabama. They'll send out these roots because there's so much moisture in the air that they'll send out these roots. Well, I'm going to actually go ahead and take some cuttings off of her and just show y'all. One of my friends, she's been wanting some, and this one just reproduces like crazy. I actually have several friends that want some of this. So I was like, well, I'll go ahead and just take some cuttings. So you want to just make that cut. I don't know if y'all can see. There you go. Right there, along that little vein. Put that back down. And that shows you right here, that left the roots and all of those little leaves right there. This is a curly spider plant that's got variegation in it, which is the white in the leaves. That's beautiful to me. But anyway, you can take your cuttings like that if you've got a spider plant and they're loving the environment. I'll go ahead and take several cuttings, and we'll get these things are growing on. See, like right here. Oh, look, I didn't even cut that one, and it's already falling off. So there was 3 on that little bitty one, right, growing next to each other. So we're gonna have 3 off of that one. And each one of those will make a plant. Let's get this going right there. And this stem, you can either cut it off and throw it to the wayside, or you can plant it if you want to, or whatever you want to do. I usually don't use the stems, but this one's a big one right here. Look how good those leaves are. Just from the humidity, this is all the water that these little pups are getting. It's just out of the air. It's crazy to me. But there's several right there that will get started. I'm gonna set her back in here where she don't squish her pups. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna show y'all these few. I already showed y'all how to do, or told y'all how to do the mother of thousands, and how hers is real easy. You just gotta get those little pups and spread them out wherever you need them. So I'm using these little 6-pack trays. I found this to be the easiest way to propagate spider plant. So you want to get some soil in that 6-pack right there. There we go. You want to spread it out real evenly. You can press down just a little bit, not a lot. Give it a little press down. You don't want it too loose. So we're going to take these little plants right here. You want to get all the leaves up in one hand and the roots in the other. You just pluck them right down in that soil. Don't be too rough, you'll break the roots, but that'll be good to get them started in. All they're looking for right now is some good, nutritious soil to get started in. They've been living off the air for so long, and I don't know if you know, but all the little air plants you see at these big box stores and stuff, that's what they live off of, is the humidity in the air. And they sometimes will ask you to spray them every once in a while. You can spray them if you want to. I've never took care of them, but that's what they do. So we're gonna stick, looky there. I cut just 6 enough. I had no idea how many I was cutting. There we go. Here's the last one. How cute. Let's stick that in there. And I usually come back with a little bit more soil in my hand. Just kind of sprinkle that over the top of them. I usually water them in. This is just to make sure that all of their roots is covered up. Just like that. Some potting soil has a little bit of bark in there. It's fine. You know, in their natural habitat, they grow in trees. So, there we go. Now we're going to take some water. In propagation, you want to make sure you water these suckers real good. And you want to make sure in any plant that you plant, in any pot, I don't care what it is, you want to make sure there is plenty of drainage, plenty of holes in the bottom. Just in case you overwater, or if you don't overwater, and just like me, and just dump water on it every once in a while. Have water coming out the bottom, and that makes sure all the excessive drainage goes out the bottom and it doesn't stay with those plant roots and cause rot to happen. So now I'm going to show y'all this Hens Chicks, or Sempervivum. There's different ways of pronouncing it, but that's the biological name anyway, scientific name. So with these, they've got the little stem right here. Sorry, my hands are dirty. That's what I get for working, right? We're going to stick that right down in there and just cover it right up. These things are not hard at all. I'm telling you. I stick these out here. I haven't watered these Hens and Chicks, and it's probably been pretty close to a month. I haven't been out here. Bless them. They're still doing good. We're going to put one more in that. So I'm going to show y'all how I cut it off. So you see right here, just make the cut clean and smooth. And see, looky there, it's already got roots growing right there. So we're just going to make sure to cover them roots up. Stick it right in there. So there's 3 of them going. I'll kind of show y'all, this is earlier. Here's several months ago, several months ago, it's probably 6 months ago. In the same size pot, I started these, as you can tell. These are cool because when they don't have enough water, just like a lot of desert plants, they'll curl up. So like this one's hiding in there. It's holding all its moisture in that it can. I need to water these, of course, and I sure will today. To be exact, let's just go ahead and water them because I don't want to forget. There's so much stuff going on around the farm. It's real easy to forget about these poor little plants out here if I don't get a chance to when, you know, everything's got going on. Y'all probably know. Y'all probably got your own gardens and stuff. So we're going to make sure to water them in real good. We'll go ahead and give everybody a drink. As long as it's got good drainage, you should be good. You know, you don't want to water them every day, but, you know, once a week, that's what I usually say about all this. But in propagation, you'll make sure you water them real good. You need to keep water to them to make sure you get those roots growing. Once you get those roots growing real good, you could slowly take off the amount of water that you give them. So some ways, especially with making cuts that doesn't have roots already, especially like these hens and chicks and other different types of plants, a lot of people use rooting hormone. And it's just this white powder that you want to wet the stem first and stick it down in that powder, and that'll help the plant grow roots to where that's the best thing for a plant is to, as long as it has roots, it will grow. If it'll have roots and you give it enough water and it has those roots to suck in that moisture, it will grow. So once you can get the roots growing real good, you should be able to up the size of pot that you use. So like these is in these little bitty 6-packs. I can up it to one in this size of a pot, and then I can up it however much. I like to put my spider plants, as you can tell, I like to put them right here in a hanging pot and hang them on the porch or wherever you got them in the greenhouse. You don't want to put these in the greenhouse too much. You don't want to burn their leaves, especially if your greenhouse, you don't want to have it in full sun all the time. Spider plants love the sun, but you don't want to burn them and scorch them. And the way you can tell they've been scorched is to look at their leaves, and if they've got, you know, dark colored or light colored leaves that's got tan spots on them, that means that they've been sun scorched. This one's been on the porch, so it hadn't been sun scorched. It's growing out its old leaves like this. It's kind of moving them on out like life happens, you know. And so you can just cut them out, and you can just keep up in the size of this pot. This one's pretty good right now, and the way you can check is through the bottom. You always want to check to make sure there's not roots growing out of the bottom. You don't want to have it root bound in a pot. So let me show you an example of that while I'm speaking of it. So this snake plant right here, this is what this is. A Sansevieria is its scientific name. It has been in this pot for about a year or two. And these are propagations from a mother plant at one point. Just like all plants, they all come from somewhere, right? From a mother plant. So, or a seed, which comes from that mother. So, we've got some few little pups coming up around the edges because it's got roots all around in that pot. Well, I'm getting ready here before long that I want to move it into a different pot. I think it'll look better in a different pot. And these have got some lighter colored leaves because they get sun all the time. So I haven't opened, so this is a surprise for me and you. So we're about to see. I can tell already it's going to be rough. I'm just going to pop its roots out just a little bit. You want to be real gentle when you're doing this. I don't know that I can. If these plants are tough, I may have to lay it on the ground. It's hard to hurt snake plant. This came from my mom's plant years ago. Let's see. I may not even be able to get it out of this pot. I may have to cut the pot off. Yep, I may have to cut it off. Oh, there it goes. So here you go. Look at all those roots. So as you can tell, that here's where it's good to get this up close and personal look on the plant, because you can see what's going on down in here. There's so many roots that's sending up these little pups like this, which is good. This is a good sign that the plant's doing good. But I'm gonna have to change out this pot, change out the soil, and I may just go ahead and separate them out, and I can have more plants. So I'm gonna sit this back in here, and that'll be on my priority to do in the next few days or whenever I get a chance. So that's all, guys. So thanks for watching, and this is a propagation video, or well, a catch-all video, would you say. Thank you.